Hey YouTube, what's up? It is Johnny Glock, and I have a pretty good video today because I'm working on a gun and there's some issues showing up here. This is a Gen 5. It comes from Tim R. in Niles, Michigan. So Tim, I got your gun, man. Okay, anyway, so what's happening is, and any of you that experience heavy weight, like when you say I put a trigger in and it's feeling heavier, it's usually one of three things. It's connector drag. It's a line across the striker lug face where there's like a demarcation that's grabbing your sear, and then the last one, that it could be a combination of things, but the last one is what we're going to be doing today, which I really don't have a video out for, so I'm pretty psyched that this happened. And it presents itself just like the connector drag that you feel in the back of the gun, where the transfer bar and this part right here sandwiches against the outside of the gun. So, but diagnostically, I'll go for the striker first whenever I feel that. But any metal to metal parts are suspect. So when I feel something that isn't smooth, I'm always going to look at these two parts right here where the connector is coming down, right there where the connector is coming down there, down the face of the connector, with the transfer bar is coming down the face of the connector. Sorry, I had too much coffee today. Actually, I never drink coffee, but I don't know why I did. The next part is going to be where the metal to metal is where the actual safety plunger contacts the bar at the what's called the vertical extension, right there. And that's usually never. They have to be really, there's usually when that happens, it's offset or the spring's crimped in there, or there's like a channel issue where it's just maybe an aftermarket part and it just doesn't want to, the cylinder doesn't fit really well in the channel. So that's another area right there. But for diagnostic reasons, and with this gun, I've taken all these parts out. So I'm going to drop this down right here. So I've already done all those different things we were talking about, and you can see all my parts are here from that. And so right now in this gun, all we have is, and this is how, I know it has pretty safe gun because there's nothing really in it. It could fire though. So the only thing we have left in here, metal to metal, is going to be the striker. And when I pull this back, like when I pull that back, I can hear a lot of just, it's grabbing something. It's, like when plastic grabs plastic, sometimes there's this like stutter to it, and that's what I'm feeling. And along with that, and this is another dead giveaway for connector drag, when the gun breaks and you do a reset like this, and then you release and you don't get a full return. See how that did not come forward? I'll do it again. So break, and now when I let go, it doesn't want to let the trigger safety tab pop out. If you can see back there now it did, just one click. So that's a big issue. That needs to be remedied immediately, because then, I can't tell you how many times, you might be at the range or whatever, and you might, I'm just gonna, I'm done for the day or whatever, just, take out the round or whatever, or in between, or you do some dry firing and stuff like that, and you leave it like this. If dry firing practice especially, you're just like, I'm done for the day, and it doesn't pop back out. So the main thing that we talk about all the time that causes that is the drag back here on the frame. But that's not happening because I've already checked it. So in this case, all this stuff is actually coming from the relationship in here. And I remember putting it in and feeling a little bit of a grab when I did that. And there's really no rhyme and reason. Like, see, it's when I get right here, I gotta like yank it out. So there's really no rhyme and reason to this. Sometimes the parts are just calibrated wrong. Now this part right here is definitely pretty matte for as new as this is. You can see there's been definitely rubbing on it. You might not be able to see it, but I can definitely tell that it's not fitting in there correctly. So it can either be two things. It can be the channel liner, which, let me see if I have one here. Yeah. Here's a channel liner. So if I have to yank the channel liner out of here, which actually sits down in here, pull it out and put a new one in, I will do that. The other quick fix is the cups. I forgot to mention one thing. The other metal to metal that you're going to be looking for is the sear to the striker lug face right here. Oh no, I did mention that you might have a line across the sear right there. I mean across the striker lug face, but this has been polished and worked, so this is smooth and hard as it gets. So I know that's not the case. Everything's pretty much been whittled down to an issue in the striker channel. So I'm going to open this up, and you can see even now that they just don't want to come out. And there's nothing really telltale about it, you know, when you look at them. And like I said, I can see wear, a certain type of wear on there, just because I've done this so long. And it really they shouldn't have been that greasy either. So I don't know if that was the case. It was sitting with oil on it like that, or what could possibly have happened. So, and here's one of the tricks I use. I don't really like marine cups, but what I like to do is to split them. So basically one side will be a marine cup and the other side will be regular. And so with that, that's the only way I would run marine cups. So you can see right there how, you know, the end of that is just grabbing on that, on the right there. The end of the spring is just barely touching that. That causes issues. So if I use half a marine cup and not half, I can spin this and get that part of the end of the spring exactly where I want it. I can't see the dang end. Oh, there it is. Alright. So now we have the end of the spring. I'll put this right there securely, and I'm talking about that end right there, the last coil on a nice flat spot. And then on the other side you have, you know, the marine cups, and you can see the spring is banked up right up in there. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. 2 marine cups and getting that little thing and hoping that spring is going to stay on there is just not, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often. So there's always a lot of issues with that. So when I do put this back in, I can feel that it's a world difference from how it felt before, and it comes right out too. So check it again. It slides right in. I'm going to put the back plate back on. Now remember, everything else is out of the gun. And I'm going to go like that. And there's just so much more free movement in there. It doesn't feel as impeded. And so we're going to do a test right here. So we're going to pull, and it feels much better. So when I let go, you can see it popped right out with authority. So when I let go here, pops right back out with authority. See? So, and I still want to tighten, you know, I still have a bunch of stuff to do to this trigger, but that is one of the things that I absolutely had to get out of the way to make sure this is smooth, because, you know, you got a little bit of a wall there, then right from the wall break. But man, did it feel, and that's, the reset is really fast on this one. And they're just dipped, you know, like the last one I did had a little tad of a longer reset, and that's because I had to use a Glock connector. That was giving me the best break reset combination. Now this one, because it's a different gun, I'm using a Lone Wolf, and it's really knocking it out of the park. So that's the difference, you know, when I'm working with your gun and things of that, I can change things around and see first what works, plug and play, and then from there I start to refine it. And by the way, here is I made a mistake too. Chris is not from Orlando. He's from Orange Park. Some of his buddies said something about it, so I wanted to rectify that. All right. So, and he did the stipple job on here, which I think is really cool. But this was the gun we were working on. So like I said, there's no wall. There's the break, very short break, as you can see. And then the reset is, like I said, we're talking hairs difference in between these two guns. And you can see that reset is just, it's way shorter than the last time I had it. This trigger is exactly where I want it to be. I shot the living crap out of this gun the other day, and man, it just ran. It was perfect. So right now we're just waiting on some sights that we're gonna put on here, and I'm gonna zero it in and send it right back to Chris. So, and then I'll do a dedicated video for part 3 of the, you know, 1, 2, 3 part thing for the Gen 5. But I wanted to do this, and that's really for, you know, any generation. It's not just for the Gen 5s. These diagnostics that you use to save yourself time and a headache, because it can be frustrating. I know that you spend a lot of money on things and then you get them and you're just like, you know, especially with those aluminum shoes all the time, drag with the safeties, and there's just all these little things that if I hadn't done hundreds of them, I would be like, okay, where do I start? And that's been through, you know, time and effort and frustration and all that kind of stuff. But it is a passion, so it makes it, you know, acceptable. And I know at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to hand someone a gun and they're just going to be like, fucking A, you know, that's it. So, and that's what I pretty much do. You know, I tell everyone, not until I get this smile on my face when I pull the trigger and, you know, at the range and stuff, do I say, okay, it's got the Johnny Glock's blessing, because, you know, that's, if I'm going to run a gun, I want it to be that good, like, oh my God, yes, can't wait till he gets it. So Tim and Chris, these guns are going to be coming back probably the end of this week, early week, and they're going to be awesome, I promise. So that's about it for this video. www.johnnyglocks.com. 941-376-4383 is the phone number, and get Johnny Glocks with an S. Make sure you put that S at gmail.com is the email. You guys have a great rest of the day and take care.